He's probably a little autistic. We'll keep it on the low though. Since Pokemon was released 30 years ago, there have been changes to the type chart. Specifically, the Dark and Steel types were added in Generation 2, and the Fairy type was introduced in Generation 6. Pokemon like Magnemite and Clefairy didn't receive their Steel/Fairy typing until those generations, and there's a few Pokemon that needed to receive new types. Some Pokemon get new types when they Mega Evolve, like Mega Charizard X receiving the Dragon type or Mega Gyarados receiving the Dark type. Even after the new types were introduced, some Pokemon still don't have the correct typing. And in this video, we're going to highlight some of those examples. Starting off in Generation 1, we have the infamous Charizard. He's a fire flying type, but he really should be a dragon type. I can see where they're coming from with the flying type. He's got wings, but BFFR, that's a dragon. Everyone knows that that's a dragon. This is an example of the eye test. I mean, this is just a fire-breathing dragon. He should have been Fire Dragon since 1996. And Game Freak, they did fix it in Generation 6 with Mega Charizard X, but he should have been Dragon the whole time. Next up, we have Blastoise. He should have received the Steel typing in Generation 2, much like Magnemite, but for some reason, he's a Mono Water type. He even received a Mega Evolution in Generation 6, and he still remained only a Water type. Now, I could give Game Freak some leeway. It was their first time making a game, but still, at some point, he should have received the Steel type, and it's just unacceptable. Blastoise received Shell Smash in Generation 8, and it'd be really interesting to see how he uses that with a Mega Evolution returning. Next up is the inspiration to this video, Psyduck/Golduck. It's strange that he's not a Psychic type. It would be the third Psychic Water type in the generation, Starmie and Slowbro, but he should have had the Psychic type. His name is Psyduck. He has psychic powers. I mean, if you ever watched an episode of the anime, you see Psyduck freak out. He's probably a little autistic. We'll keep it on the low though. And he'll just kind of like beat his head up and then magically do like psychic powers. He should just be Psyduck. Our last Pokemon from Generation 1 is another water type, and it's Gyarados. Why is this Sea Leviathan a flying type? I don't even think he can learn any flying moves. I think his only like usable flying move is Bounce, and it's just not that good. It's a Sea Dragon. He should be Water Dragon, and it gets worse. He does receive a Mega Evolution. Game Freak had a chance to fix it like they did with Charizard X. They could have given him Water Dragon like he was supposed to have the whole time, but they gave him Water Dark, and I just don't understand. I mean, look at this guy. That's a dragon. That's a dragon. Let's stop playing around. I don't know why they gave him the dark typing. I guess he's intimidating. I could see like they're kind of going for, but that's a dragon. Let's you know what else is intimidating? A dragon. Just stop playing around. That's a dragon type. That's Gyarados should have been Water Dragon. Starting off Generation 2 is Meganium. It's a slight stretch. Like I could see it being pure grass, but I think Meganium should have received the Fairy typing. It's mystical. It's cute. I could see it have the Fairy typing. I'm not as mad as I am with the Gyarados one, but like when Generation 6 came out, a lot of Pokemon received the Fairy typing, like Azumarill and Gardevoir. I think Meganium should have received it, but I'm not mad that it didn't, but I could see that it would receive it. Next on our list is the legendary Pokemon Lugia. If you didn't know anything about Pokemon except for the type chart and you had to guess what type of Pokemon Lugia is, 9 times out of 10 you would guess water and flying. But for some reason, the Guardian of the Sea is not a water type. Lugia is psychic flying and it's egregious. All you have to do is look at its Pokédex entries to see that it's supposed to be a water type. Pokemon Silver says, it is said to be the guardian of the seas. It is rumored to have been seen on a night of storm. Lastly, from Generation 2 is Celebi. Generation 2 should have stripped it of its psychic typing in Generation 6 and given it the fairy typing. I mean, it's Tinkerbell as an onion. Grass Fairy would have fit more thematically in my opinion. I think this is an example of Game Freak just slapping Psychic on a legendary Pokemon because that's just what they did back in the day. Like Lugia, Celebi are 2 good examples of that. But I think they should have given it the Azumarill treatment and just given it Psychic typing instead. Our first Pokemon from Generation 3 is Aggron. He's a Rock Steel type that realistically should have just been a Steel type. They fixed this with his Mega Evolution and gave him the Mono Steel typing. And I just don't understand why he's a rock type. Nothing about him. He's in a cave, I guess, but I just think he should have been Steel typing. Also, Rock Steel is a terrible defensive type. You're 4 times weak to fighting and ground. And for a defensive, slow Pokemon, that's just too much to overcome. I think if he was just pure Steel typing, a lot more people would use him, a lot more people would like him. And it just makes sense thematically. I don't know why he's Rock type at all. Next on the list is Flygon. Out of the 153 possible type combinations, Dragon and Bug doesn't exist in any of them. Flygon should have been Dragon Bug from the start. I understand why it's a ground type. He lives in the desert, sandstorms and stuff, but I think he should have been Dragon Bug from the beginning. In Legend ZA, he might get a new Mega Evolution, and hopefully they fix it and give us the first Dragon Bug, but he should have been Dragon Bug since Generation 3. I mean, it's a Dragonfly. It's literally a Dragonfly. Dragon and Bug just makes too much sense. I don't understand why he's the ground type. Maybe he could keep remnants of his ground typing, give him like Sand Force or Sand Rush, so he'll still be immune to Sandstorm damage, but I think he should receive the bug type upon Mega Evolution. Lastly, from Generation 3 is Milotic. Just slap the fairy typing on this guy and you're off to the races. Milotic is Generation 3's version of Gyarados, where you have this weak little fish in Feebash/Magikarp, and they evolve into this majestic Leviathan of a monster. Where Gyarados should have been Dragon, I think Milotic should have been Fairy. Milotic has very fairy-like features, and I could see it as a water fairy type. I could see it being mono water, but I think it should be fairy. One of the most famous examples of a Pokemon having the wrong type is Luxray. For years, Pokemon fans have been saying that he needs to receive the dark type, and I agree. He should have been Electric Dark from the start. He's got Intimidate like a lot of other dark types have, shout out Incineroar, and he just should have been Electric Dark since Generation 4. He also probably would have put up a better fight here against this Gengar. If you had the dark type, because it looks like I haven't seen this, but it looks like Gengar's whooping him up. If he had that dark type, he'd be a lot better competitively, and he'd just be a better Pokemon in general. Next on the list is the Fighting Steel type Lucario. Nothing about Lucario's design says Steel type. I guess he's got those like hand spikes, I guess. But he should be Fighting Psychic hands down. Pokemon Pearl's Pokédex entry states, by catching the aura emanating from others, it can read their thoughts and movement. I mean, that's Psychic type just to a T. They put more spikes on him with his Mega Evolution to make him look like a Steel type to kind of like cover up their mistake, in my opinion. Lucario should shed his Steel typing and become a Psychic fighting type. Next is the Mono Electric Electivire. I mean, he should have been the very first electric fighting type, but we had to wait till Generation 9 with Pawmot to get electric fighting. And there's another example of electric fighting up on this list, but Electivire should have been the first. He just looks like an electric sumo wrestler, and he just should be electric fighting type. There's nothing really to say about it. Electric fighting is a good type, as we can see in Iron Hands, winning 2 world championships. And I think Electivire could have had a niche if he had that secondary fighting type. The final Generation 4 Pokemon is the Water Dragon type Palkia. This one is also just egregious. Nothing about Palkia is a water type. If anything, they should have done the Game Freak thing and just given the legendary Pokemon the Psychic type. He could have been Dragon Psychic, which would have been repetitive with Latios and Latias, but it'd be way better than Dragon Water. What about Palkia? It's a water type. Nothing. There is nothing going on that says, oh, by the way, I have water. It doesn't even get that many like good water moves. Hydro Pump is its best water move, and I just don't understand it. If you look at another space Pokemon, Deoxys, the mono psychic type, you'd understand why it should have been a psychic dragon type in the first place. Nothing about Palkia's design or anything it's got going on says water type. As the generations go on, Game Freak gets better at designing their Pokemon with the correct typing, but there are some examples from each generation. Generation 5 only has one Pokemon with the wrong typing in my opinion, and that's Haxorus. He should be Dragon Steel type 100%. His head is literally an axe. I hope he receives a Mega Evolution in Pokemon's Legends ZA and they can rectify this mistake, but since Generation 5, he should have had the Steel typing hands down. He's already a monster competitively. He's got 147 base attack, which is higher than your favorite Pokemon, probably. But his speed is 97, and he's just too slow to keep up. If he gets a Mega Evolution and gets a little bit of speed, he's going to be just a force to be reckoned with. If I showed you a picture of Florges and you had to guess the type only on appearance, what two types would you guess? You would guess grass and fairy because you're a human being and that's what it looks like and that's what it should be. It is mono fairy and I don't understand why it's not a grass type Pokemon. For some reason, Florges is mono fairy and it's baffling. Slap the grass type on this thing and call it a day and stop playing in my face. Generation 6 only has two blunders when it comes to the typing, and that's Florges and Goodra. Why is Goodra mono dragon? Every pseudo legendary except for Goodra has a secondary typing, and it's kind of nuts that it just doesn't have that poison typing. It literally has an acid chin and arms. It's melting acid. I believe Goodra should have had poison typing from the get-go. It would have been better competitively, and it's a shame that it's only a dragon. Slap the poison type on Goodra and call it a day. I think Alolan Executor is peak design. This is Game Freak at their most creative, and I love it. But nothing about this long-necked boy says dragon type to me at all. It learns Dragon Hammer, which is really funny, where it just slams its neck on the table, but I don't think it should be dragon type. I think it should just be grass type. If Charizard and Gyarados can't be dragons, this Palm Tree can't be a dragon. They're very stingy, Game Freak, with giving out the dragon type. They shouldn't have given this guy the dragon type. Zeraora is next for Alola. If Electivire can't be the first fighting electric type, then Zeraora should have been. Guess what his signature move is called? Plasma Fist. Guess what type of moves it can learn most abundantly? Fighting type, next to electric, of course. I don't understand why it's mono electric type. This guy should have been electric fighting the whole time, and he would have been better for it, just like Electivire. It's insane to me that we had to wait to Generation 9 to get Palmont to get the first electric fighting type. Slap fighting on Zeraora and Electivire and stop playing with me. As for Generation 8, I only have one nomination, and that's Grapploct. Why isn't this octopus a water type? Grapploct is a mono fighting type, and it should have been water fighting type the whole time. I get the fighting type, it makes sense. He looks like he could throw some hands, but water type? Where is it? I'm a big fan of Grappaloct's design. I like that he's just a cool punching guy, but he should have been a water type. I don't know how many ways I can say it. Make him a water type. Make the octopus a water type. It's that simple. In my opinion, Generation 9 didn't make any mistakes with the typing. Maybe you could have gave Palafin the fighting type once it hit that hero form, but I think thematically all of the Generation 9 Pokemon make sense. I'm super excited for Legend ZA, and it comes out next week. I can't wait to start posting content.